Welcome to the Career Refresh Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Griffin. I'm a former media and marketing executive turned career strategist and executive coach. I spent my career working my way up and through the ranks of global organizations and startups, and today I show others how to do the same. Join me each week as we discuss the strategies and actionable steps to leverage your strengths, increase your confidence, and develop your career well-being. Ready? Let's do it. Hey there. I'm glad you're here. I wanted to talk today about something that I have struggled with for years, and that is fear. In a workplace environment, fearful people don't act scared. It's not like what we see in the movies. They usually aren't hiding in a bathroom stall shaking, although they may be calling a friend from the restroom, like talking in between the wishing of a flush toilet and expressing their feelings, but they're usually not shaking like a leaf. Fear and anxiety are contagious, but so is calm. Think about your current or previous supervisor. How did their disposition set the vibe for the whole team? People in fear can act very controlling or aggressive. Fear can show up as anger, arrogance, defensiveness, like a general lack of collaboration and communication, stubbornness, or fear may immobilize you and you become aggressive. You may shrink and not step up. You avoid risks. You stay small because if you take itty-bitty steps, you get itty-bitty risks. And fear is never a valid excuse for staying small. It's just a sign that you have work to do to manage your mind. Fear doesn't mean that something has gone wrong. Fear is just that you're normal and you're wired for survival. There are rational fears like falling, car accidents, and bugs, because I think bugs are rational fears. And then there are irrational fears like the fear of failure or a fear of success. Without your mind, there is no fear. Let that sink in. This is not the time to judge yourself. Your fear gets worse because you resist it. And you don't want to feel that feeling in your body. Your throat might tighten, your shoulders may tense, or you get a little bit of a nervous flip in your stomach. How does fear show up in your body? And while on the outside, I may have had a hard, leather-wrapped New York City shell, occasionally I did have irrational fears of failure or of being excluded. But as a traumatic brain injury survivor, I sure as hell had a constant rational fear of falling again. I thought acknowledging and expressing my emotion would overwhelm me and bring me deeper into the fear. So I just refused to allow them. And when I think back on that time many years ago after the injury, I must have been so charming to be around. Being scared is normal. It's part of being human. Scared is a feeling. It's just a vibration in your body. And it doesn't mean that you're in imminent danger. But fear can be a beast. And for me, it was a beast. And then it was suggested that I work with one. Yep, equine therapy, my friends, horse therapy. I'm definitely open to new experiences, and I'm totally the girl who will try most things once. I kept thinking when this was suggested to me, like, what the F is a horse going to teach me so that I can overcome my fear? But I like animals, so I set out to find an equine therapist. And believe it or not, I found one pretty quickly, not too far from New York City. And it was a rescue farm. So this situation was totally up my jam because I love animals and I love and support rescue animals. This farm had horses who were retired police horses, horses with various injuries, or horses that had been mistreated and were now in recovery. And according to Psychology Today, horses can be an emotional mirror for humans. They respond to the feeling state we show. And they're herd and prey animals, so this means that they have a strong emotional sense, and they use that sense as a survival tool. They feed off of each other, and they respond to other horses in the herd. If one horse is scared, the others will become frightened. They respond similarly to humans. If a person approaches a horse with anger, a horse is going to respond by shying away or becoming very stubborn. Horses never hide their emotions. So let's stop for a second and ground, because at this point in the podcast, it is not my intent to convince you to use equine therapy. You can Google around and decide if that's the right next step for you to overcome some of your fears. But I'm here to tell you that this is my story on how I overcame fear, and that the experience, the memory, and the message stays with me today so powerfully, even years later. So the day arrives of my therapy appointment. I drive out to the farm. I'm feeling some curiosity, a lot of trepidation, but I do recall deciding that I was going to be in the experience. I was just going to do it, and I'm not going to judge it. So I get into this tremendous ring that's like the size of a football field, and there are about 50 or so horses mixing and mingling. Some of them are in their little horse houses. The therapist gives me a piece of carrot and tells me to go stand in the center of the ring. And she says, whatever you do, don't move. Okay, I should explain that many of these horses were huge draft horses. I did recognize a Clydesdale, so just to anchor, that's the kind of big I'm talking about here. So the therapist turns to walk away, and as she does, she calls over her shoulder really casually and she says, I already know the horse that's going to choose to work with you today. She holds up a piece of paper noting that she's written the horse's name down and that she'll tell me after the session. So now I'm in the ring, and I believe she made some sort of like whistle or call to get the horses to stir and begin to move. And from the center of the ring, I can see a horse all the way on the other side that starts to trot towards me. Then it begins to drop into like a canter, which is like a nice jog. So not horse racing fast, but not a casual trot either. This is like, it's coming at me. So this horse is coming directly at me, and it's not stopping. It's not slowing down. It's not easing up. We are on a direct trajectory for impact. And she keeps yelling, don't move. And I'm sitting here at this point thinking, sweet baby Jesus, what did I get myself into? I went from like smiles and, oh, horses are so beautiful, to like, WTF, I'm going to die. This horse is going to hit me at 20 miles an hour with a full 1,000 pounds of muscle. And I literally almost shat myself just thinking about like the horse hitting me hitting some sort of trajectory, smashing into a tree, getting another head injury. Like all of this is going through my head. I start to tremble, which is fascinating to be in the moment and watch fight or flight take over. Adrenaline, everything pumping through me, my muscles, everything, and my legs are literally shaking. And all the while, Missy outside the ring is yelling, don't move. So the horse is coming closer. Don't move. Even closer. Again, don't move. And then it clicked. In this moment, I was safe. The horse is charging at me. In this moment, I am safe. The horse is coming at me. In this moment, I am safe. Now I'm crying, realizing that if I stay present, I am not in fear. It's only the projection of all that could go wrong that I drop into fear. There's no fear in the present. So what happens? So Jojo, the horse, skids like a cartoon character, skids up to me, like, right? Stops in front of me and begins to sniff, smell me, starts to chew on my collar, licks my hand. And by licking, I really mean hand and forearm, which is pretty much totally inside his mouth at this point. And he eventually finds the carrot that I forgot that I was holding with like a death grip. And that was it. He hangs around a bit, allows me to pet him. We have some interaction, some like horsetail SWAT time. Totally calm. Calm is contagious. Disaster averted. It was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had, because when I stay present, I am safe and I had no fear. Because in this moment and in this one and in this one, I am safe. So if you've ever seen my Instagram feed, you may have noticed a big, beautiful horse on a red background that hangs in my office. That's not Jojo, that's a Luminari, but he is a powerful reminder every day that when I am present, I am not in fear. Most of our fears come from our thoughts. Think about it. The majority of your irrational fears you have created. You believe your thoughts, and now you are letting them stop you. They say the exact hormones are released whether you feel fear or excitement, which to me is totally crazy. Fear, your brain instructs your body to increase your breathing, your heart rate, dilates your pupils, your palms get sweaty. And surprisingly, When you feel excitement, the brain triggers the same physiological response. So what's the difference? Your thoughts about the circumstance. When you're feeling excited, it's because of your thoughts. And when you're feeling fear, it's because of your thoughts. So to change your thoughts, you must examine them, even the negative ones. Awareness precedes change. Make a decision to investigate your thoughts as part of a morning routine. And this doesn't mean you're going to have totally blissful days. It simply means that being aware of your thoughts and feelings will enable you to change them over time. Examine what's in your head and heart. I promise you, you will start to see shifts pretty quickly. And then you'll be prepared for whatever this beautiful and crazy world throws at you, even a JoJo. Let me know what you think. Email me at hello@jillgriffinconsulting.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, my friends, we'll talk soon. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening to the Career Refresh podcast. If you're enjoying this and you want more information, go to my website, jillgriffincoaching.com. There you can find information on how to work with me one-on-one or my group programs, or even bring me into your workplace. I'll put the link to my website in the show notes. But hey, listen, before you go, do me a favor, rate and review this podcast because it definitely helps me get the word out to people everywhere so that they can also thrive in the workplace. All right, friends, I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.